Hello everyone, welcome to the Archipelago live stream. I'm Liam, one of the product developers here at Archipelago, makers of Lightroom presets and creative profiles. Very good to have you here tune into this live stream. So today we're taking a look at Quest 38 BeQuest preset collection. I'll be showcasing the set, walking through the presets that are included and showing the very cool effect that's in there as well. So Archipelago Quest, for those that don't know, is a preset subscription where we release a new set of Lightroom presets every single month that's free for members to download. You can find out more about our membership at archipelagoquest.com. The link for that is in the description, and I'm sure it'll go into the chat from one of our mods in a moment as well. You can become a member for 3 months or 6 months, so 2 options there, and it can start from as little as $10 per month. And if you download a set as part of your Quest membership, that set is yours to keep and own forever. So that's just one of the things a lot of people tend to ask. So welcome to the stream. We'll be getting underway with the edits shortly. I've got 8 wonderful images I'll be editing with the BeQuest presets shortly. So BeQuest came out on our Quest platform yesterday, so it's this month's current set. So if you sign up during this month of July, you'll be able to download BeQuest for free as part of your membership. It's been revered already just by the people that have downloaded it on that first day. There's been loads of really beautiful images shared in the group. I saw some from Liz shared just before I jumped on the stream. Really, really wonderful images. So BeQuest is a warm and romantic set. It has a little bit of a baroque style to it. You'll see that the effect that's in there also has that kind of very baroque style, almost like Renaissance painting style to it, which is really, really cool. So I'll be kind of walking through that preset collection, the creative profile, and the tools that are included with that set as well in this stream. So if you are tuning live, do make sure you hit the subscribe button on the channel. Then after about a minute, you'll be able to get into the live chat and say hello. Do jump in there and let us know where you're tuning in from. Say hi. It's great to have you on, especially if it's your first stream. But it's also nice to see some familiar names, and I can see some in the chat there already. So welcome back if you've been on before. And if you haven't, welcome to the stream. Do jump in and say hello. We'll be doing a giveaway in the live chat like we always like to do on these live streams. So if you are tuning in, all you need to do is keep interacting in that chat box as we go through the stream, and you'll be in with a chance of winning an Archipelago mug. So here's the one that I've got. This is the Level Up Your Editing design of the Archipelago mug. We've got a few different designs to choose from. We'll be choosing someone from the live chat at the end of the stream to win a free mug. You can just pick which design you'd like. So just keep chatting away in the live chat as we go through. Ask questions if you have them. I'd love to answer them on the live stream if I can. And yeah, we'll just have a good time. So I'll show the images that I've got to edit with today. So I'll jump over to my Lightroom screen so you can see these 8 images are what I have to edit with today. And as we go through the stream, you're going to see the photographer's name and their Instagram handle at the top left, along with the EXIF data there. So if you're interested in finding out more about their work, following the photographer on Instagram, that kind of thing, it's always nice to support them. We have some really, really wonderful photographers in our community. And yeah, these 8 images are gorgeous. It's going to be a really nice example of what BeQuest can do. So yeah, we'll dive into those in a moment. Hi there from Germany, that's Julius, welcome. Saran's on, so excited, good stuff. Letha said, I love the set already. Great stuff, Letha. In fact, yeah, I saw your images, Letha, really, really beautiful. Really, really gorgeous images. I saw those in the Facebook group not too long ago. Saran said, that's so exciting. The mug is my favorite. Yeah, great mug. Nice little camping mug. Nice and durable. Keep you hydrated while you're editing or out on your adventures. Tried the set, so excited to see it in action, and the mug is so cute. Thank you, Una. All right, so let's get underway. I'll start kind of walking through the preset collection, and we'll get editing these images. So this first image here is from Carissa. You can see, as I said, the photographer's name and their Instagram handle at the top there. So Carissa for photography. And this one is a Canon file, a CR3 file. So let's go ahead and set the exposure, set the white balance. That's something we should always do before we apply the presets. And then I'll kind of walk through the presets that are included with this collection. So I'm going to bring the exposure up just a bit here. The white balance is looking pretty spot on, so I don't think I need to change that. I'm quite happy with where it's at. So let's just take a look at the presets. So we have 3 core presets in this, BeQuest 1, 2, and 3. And then we have some effects in there as well. So I'm going to hover over BeQuest 1 first of all. We'll give that a second to render out. So you're going to notice, as with many of our presets now, they utilize the very advanced AI features in Lightroom to be able to apply masks to various different parts of the scene. So in this case, it's creating a mask for the background and creating a mask for the subjects. And it's just rendering everything in a really, really beautiful way. There's also another mask overlay in there, which I'll show you shortly, that creates a nice softness to the image. But you get this beautiful warmth, this really nice romantic baroque look to the image. So again, that's BeQuest 1 as a one click. And I'll just go through the other two presets just so you can see a comparison. I'm actually just going to bring the exposure up just a tiny touch more. So BeQuest 1, BeQuest 2, and then BeQuest 3. So they're variations of each other. You can see there's just a slightly different look to each of them. Dependent on the image and the colors that are in the image, you're going to see more or less of a difference between each of those three presets. But you've got BeQuest 1, 2, and 3. So all of those look really beautiful on this image, but I'm going to edit this one with BeQuest 1, the first preset in the collection. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And the first thing I'll show you, obviously we have the creative profile. For anyone that doesn't know what a creative profile is, it's essentially an overlay on the image and allows for a certain type of effect to be brought to the image. So BeQuest has a creative profile. It's set to 100 as default. Now, if I bring this down to 0, you can just see how it affects the image. If I bring it up to 200, you can see it brings that really nice warmth, that extra contrast into the image. So that's what the creative profile is adding. It's sort of like an overlay, it's an effect, and it combines multiple different looks. And all of our presets use a different type of creative profile that brings a different look to your image. And you can actually go through and mix and match. We have a couple of live streams where I've done mixing and matching, a preset from one collection, creative profile from another collection. So this just gives you an extra dial, extra little bit of kind of control over the look of the image. So this has the BeQuest preset on, but with the creative profile down at 0, you can see it's quite a different look to having it up here at 200. So you can just dial this to wherever you like. And I'm going to leave it at the default of 100 for now. And again, this is before and after. Now you can see if we look at the subjects here, we look at the background, you can see how they're rendering slightly different from the background and the subjects, and that's because of the masking panels that I was talking, the masking layers, sorry, that I was talking about. So when you apply the preset, it applies a mask or multiple masks in this case to the image. So down here we have a subject mask. This is where it's going to automatically find the subject in your image, and this applies an effect that lifts the subject out. We also have a background mask. Again, that just selects the background of your image. We have some grain that's been added through the masking panel rather than through the effects panel. And we talked about this before. The grain that's applied through the masking panel has a little bit of a different look. It's a little bit more realistic to film, has a little bit more character to it. It's really, really nice. So this set uses the grain in there. So if you are editing with this preset collection and you want to adjust the grain in any way, you'll want to go into the masking panel to do that. It's not in the effects panel. And then we have a layer called amorous. And this is a really nice effect that brings a softness to the image. So all these four are applied as default when you apply the preset that's included. But you can, of course, go into the masking panel and dial that yourself. All right, so let's take a look at what else is included in this set. So we've got a really nice start to the edit of this image, but we also have a very clever effect built into this set as well, which is called Aurae. A couple of different versions that are included. So we have a vertical version and a horizontal version, and that's just designed to suit a horizontal or a vertical image. So I would say always start with the correct version, so the version that's going to match the image that you're editing. So in this case, we have a horizontal image, so I'll use the H versions, but you can break the rules. If you want to use the vertical version on a horizontal image, absolutely go for it, play around, but I would always start with the ones that are designed for it and then kind of go on from there. So let me just show you this effect. It's very, very cool. I'm going to go ahead and hover over Aurae H. So you can see we get this really, really nice kind of orb of light, and the inspiration behind this when Richard was developing the set was the solar eclipse, the path of totality, and seeing that kind of ring of light all the way around. So that was kind of the inspiration behind it. And the two different versions that you have included, so we have the regular version, which applies straight over the top, with the masking panel, and then we have a version that removes the subject from the mask, so essentially places this behind the subject. So that's what I'm going to use on this because I think that effect looks really, really cool. So I'm going to apply Aurae H minus subject, and you can see now in the masking panel we have the Aurae, and we can move this around. So all we need to do is click on to the mask itself and then grab any of the handles, and now I can move the effect around the image. So I'm going to place this behind the subjects here just as a nice effect to kind of highlight them, draw the eye, and we can change the intensity of this using the amount slider in the masking panel. So if we bring this to the left, we can reduce it or we can increase it. So I'm going to go for maybe a tiny little bit of an increase, about 113. We get this really, really beautiful effect where we have the subject surrounded by this ring of light. And of course, with the minus subject, it's just dropped it behind the subjects in the scene. So very, very cool. Again, we have a vertical version and a horizontal version included in the set. So use whichever one you prefer. So there's before, there's after. That's edited with BeQuest 1 with the Aurae effect. And of course, as I mentioned, the built-in masking layers. So in terms of the grain, if you do want to switch the grain off, I know that tends to be something that a lot of people might want to do. So if you're delivering something where you want a little bit of a cleaner look rather than having that texture of the grain, there is a grain mask 0 included, and that will simply just turn the grain mask off in here. So you don't have to go up into the masking panel and select the grain layer and hide it. You can just choose grain 0 if you want to remove the grain. So if I zoom in, you can see the grain. Let's go to like an area here where you can sort of see the grain. If I hover over grain 0, it's just going to remove that. So nice, simple way to remove the grain. Of course, if you want to change the intensity, you'll do that in the masking panel. You go into the mask and select the amount slider, and then you can choose exactly how much of the grain that you want. But I really, really like having grain in my images. So I love the default look, but again, you've got the option there if you want to switch that back off. So let me show you the side by side. Again, gorgeous, gorgeous photo from Carissa. Really, really beautiful edit with this BeQuest 1 preset. We've got the Aurae effect on here as well, and I've left the creative profile at the default amount of 100. All right, so Erin's on, late but hi from Tampa. Welcome, Erin. Thanks for joining. Technique Studio Photography said, stunning, subtle changes, but big difference. Love that. Thank you. Bryn said, better late than never. Absolutely. Letha said, the grain is so beautiful. Yes, I am a big fan of grain. I love using it on my images. I very, very rarely switch it off entirely. I might dial it back sometimes, but I love having some grain on there. Grain is my weakness. That's from Bryn. I can change the color of the Aurae ring, right? Yes, you can. Great question. Technique Studio Photography. So if you go into the Aurae effect here, all you need to do is select the masking layer, and then down here you can see a color and a little box on the side. Give that a click, and you can change the color and the amount of saturation included. So if you want this to be a little bit more of a warm tone, you can of course do that. So you can just jump in here with the dropper tool, select whatever color you want, and obviously dial the saturation up and down. So let's go for something a little bit more sort of like a reddy orange. Let's go a little bit more intense. Yeah, somewhere around about there. Super easy to do. So yeah, you can do that in the masking panel. All right, so let's move on to the next image. This one here is by Baptiste. This one is not too sure. I think it's a Canon file, this one. It's in a DNG format. So the first thing I'm going to do on this one is just to do a lens correction, just to tidy up the distortion. I'm going to bring the temperature down just a little bit. I think somewhere around about there looks good to me. So for this one, I'm going to use BeQuest 2. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. You can see it just takes a second for it to figure out where the subject and the background is, and it applies that layer. So this is before and after with BeQuest 2. And creative profile set to 100 as default. I'm going to bring that down to 0 up to 200. I really, really like the way that this looks on the image. So I'm going to increase it probably about 150. So just a little bit of a boost, bring a little bit more of that warmth and that contrast into the image. So this is before and after. And I'm definitely going to be using Aurae on this because it's such a perfect image for it. It has that kind of Renaissance feel. You can see in a lot of those older paintings where saints and people like that have this sort of halo, this ring of light, and the Aurae effect really reminds me of that, and that's how I like to use it. So let's go for Aurae V minus subject. That's going to place it behind the subject. All I need to do now is select the layer in here. And it's just important that you, when you're ready to move it, you select the layer and then just click and drag any of the handles that you see here. It's important that you do it that way rather than clicking first, which selects one of the actual masks, so in this case a radial filter, because if I then move it, it's going to move only that one particular element. So to move all of it, you just want to make sure you have the overall effect selected, and then from there you can drag and move the whole effect. So I'm going to bring this up to here, and I'm going to increase the amount. I'm going to go somewhere around about there, so 150. And let's take a look before and after. I might be tempted just to drop the temperature just a tiny bit more. Yeah, somewhere around there. All right, before and after, there's your side-by-side comparison. I love the way that it kind of enhances this image, just brings a really nice artistic look to it, that very kind of baroque feel that's mentioned in the set description. Love this image. Agree, Chris. One click perfection. That's from Letha. Thank you. So painterly. I love this image too. Definitely painterly. Beautiful image, and that one click did a huge difference. Kate says, jumping in and out whilst cooking dinner, but did not want to miss this. Such a fabulous set. Thank you, Kate, for joining. I'd love to know what you're cooking yourself for dinner. Is there an easy way to resize the whole Aurae? So yes and no. There isn't a way to resize it that's built into Lightroom. Unfortunately, masks are only going to be the size that they were created at. There is a little bit of a workaround. I've shown this in a couple of live streams, and I will do, let's move on to the next image. I'll do it, I'll tell you what, let's jump to this image, because this is going to be a good example. So this one's from Danielle. I'll edit this one next because I can show you a little bit of a workaround to let you resize it. The only way you can resize is to make it smaller with this workaround. There isn't, unfortunately, a way to make the effect larger. But this is a little bit of a workaround that lets you resize it to be smaller. And this will work for any masking layer effect that's of a particular size. So again, wonderful image. This one is a Nikon file or Nikon. This one's by Danielle. I'm going to bring the exposure up just a bit here. The white balance looks good to me, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this one. So let's take a look at the presets. So BeQuest 1, BeQuest 2, and BeQuest 3. I think for this, I would be tempted to go for BeQuest 3. I like the magenta toning, the way it's bringing out this kind of pinky hue in the dress of the subject there. So that's before and after. We've got this really, really nice, soft, warm, romantic look. So creative profile set to 100. Let's bring it down to 0 up to 200. I think I like it at the default amount. I'm going to leave that at 100. So let's go ahead and apply the Aurae effect on here. So as you can see, if I hover over the effect, if I do the minus subject one, it's quite large in the frame. So let's say for this, I wanted to do a similar thing to the last image where I'm placing it behind the subject's head and kind of give that little bit of a halo look to it. So what you would do is before you apply the effect, go into the crop tool and resize the image. So in this case, I'm going to bring the size down quite a lot. Let's go down to about here. And you don't have to leave the crop tool. You don't have to apply it. You can actually just go straight over to the effect and take a look at what it's going to do. So if you need to resize it even more, like if you needed to make it smaller, you could do so before you actually apply the effect. So yeah, somewhere around about here is looking like it's going to be the right size. I don't need to worry about the placement too much. I'm just looking at the size because obviously I can move it after. So all I do is apply the effect now that I'm happy with the size. Just hit reset on the crop or go back to your original crop. And then now I can go into the masking panel, select Aurae and position this where I like. So yeah, nice, easy way of resizing to make the effect smaller. Like I said, it is a workaround. There isn't a way to just change the size in Lightroom. Unfortunately, Adobe hasn't added that functionality at this point, but that's a nice little workaround to be able to make it smaller. And actually, in a lot of cases, I think that's probably what you would want to do, is make the effect smaller. And this works for a lot of our other tools. So things like the light leaks, the Quest tools, light leaks, and lots of other things like that, the prisms, all that kind of stuff. You can do the same. So you can just resize the image, make it smaller with the crop tool, apply the effect, resize it back up to being big, and you've got that nice small version of the effect. So I think this looks super nice. I'm just going to show you actually while we're here the amorous effect. And actually we'll go through all of these. So if you want to adjust any of this, obviously this is all at the default amount, and most of the time that's going to be perfect. But you might find that with a certain image, let's say it's got a super dark background, and the masking effect on the subject doesn't quite look right. You can simply adjust it by going into here. So you just choose the subject, go to the amount, and you can increase or decrease the effect that that's applying to the image. I think that looks great as it is on this one. And again, with the background, decrease or increase the amount. So we could go for a bit of a darker look by increasing that background mask. The grain, same, we can decrease or increase the amount of grain. I'll leave that at 100. And then amorous gives us that really nice soft look. Again, this default amount of 100 looks really nicely balanced, but if you want more of that softness, you can just increase that. And I think for this, it looks super nice about there, 150. So let's take a look before and after. A really nice transformation. It feels like it really sort of changes the shape of the light in the image. Just brings the kind of focus to the subject. Obviously, we darken the background a little bit by using the built-in effect there, and we've got that really nice Aurae effect behind the subject's head. There's the side-by-side comparison. If I go ahead and zoom in on the subject, so you can see the before and after. Let's have a little look what we're saying. Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I was going in the way long around to, the long way around to resize. Yeah, because the other way of doing it, obviously with this particular effect, it's created with radial filters and they are resizable. Brushes, you obviously can't resize. So if an effect uses a brush, you can't resize it. But you could theoretically resize this, but you'd have to select all of the separate elements and resize them yourself manually, which is fine. You can play around. I definitely recommend doing that. Play around with the effects, create your own look. And actually later on, I'm going to do that and just show you kind of things that you could do with the effect. But in terms of a quick, easy way of maintaining the effect as it was designed, but just changing the size of it, that's the way that you do it. I come here monthly for inspiration. These live streams show me what my tools can do and what I can achieve creatively. It blows my mind every month to keep growing because of these tools. Erin, that's awesome. Thank you so much. What a lovely review. Learn something new every time I watch these. That's from Letha. Thank you. I thought it was just a radial gradient effect. Yeah, it is. It's made up of, if we go into the effect here, so let's go into Aurae. It's made up of 2 radial gradients, and obviously this one is subject minus. So yeah, like I said before, you could theoretically go in here and select the radial gradient and resize it. But obviously that's just going to mean you'd need to do that for each element of the effect. Now in this case, it's only 2 elements. So it's not difficult to do, but a lot quicker just to hit the R button. That's going to put you into the crop tool, resize it down. Don't even apply it, just hover over the effect until you're at the size you like, and then go back out of the crop tool and move it to where you want. So there you go, nice, easy way of doing it. So again, before and after, that's the zoomed in version. Super beautiful image from Danielle. Thank you, Danielle. Elizabeth is on. Sorry to pop in late. My in-laws are in town from out of state and my schedule is in flux. Hoping to stay for a few minutes. This preset looks awesome. Great to have you on for as long as you are able to be here, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always nice to have you here. All right, so let's go back because we skipped this 3rd image. So I'm just going to edit this one next. So let's go ahead and do a quick crop on this one. The exposure is looking pretty good. Might bring it up a little bit. White balance is spot on, so I'm happy with that. For this one, I'm going to use BeQuest 3, which is what we used on the last image. Super nice. Love the way that looks. And pretty much for me, I think this would be one click and done. Let's just take a look at the creative profile. So one look if we bring it to the left, another if we bring it to the right. I think maybe just toning it down a little bit. So maybe about there, 63, just gives a really nice flattering effect. And let's just do grain mask 0 for this for a bit of a cleaner look, so something slightly different. So this image is by Gail. Absolutely love Gail Secker's work. Super, super nice. And there's the side-by-side comparison. So that one's edited with BeQuest 3. We've just dialed the creative profile back and done grain mask 0 just for a little bit of a cleaner look. Those tones, that's from Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Tones for days. All right, so before and after BeQuest 3. All right, so next up we have this image here. This one is another one from Carissa. Super, super nice image. We've got this nice coastal scene here. So I'm going to bring the exposure up. I'm going to add a little bit more warmth in just to emphasize that nice, what I'm assuming is sunset light coming through on the left of the frame. All right, let's have a look at the different options. So BeQuest 1, love that, really nice transformation. BeQuest 2, also very, very nice. And 3, I think 1 is doing it for me on this one. I'm going to bring the exposure up just a little bit more just to make sure that we can see the subjects nice and clearly. Let's have a quick look at the background mask, see if we might want to... I'm going to bring that down a little bit just to kind of keep some of the light that's in the background. And let's take a look. I'm going to bring the subject mask up just to kind of add a little bit more warmth and bring the exposure up a little bit on the subjects. Let's chuck an Aurae effect on here just because we can. Why not? So I'm going to jump in here, give that a click, move it around. Let's place it there. And let's set the intensity a little bit lower just for a little bit more of a subtle effect. Okay, before and after, that's a super quick edit with BeQuest 1. Creative profile still at the default amount of 100. We could boost that if you want to go lean into that warm look. Actually, that looks super nice. Let's crank that up to 200. Really emphasize that nice light that's coming in from the top of the frame there. So yeah, that looks super nice to me. There's before, there's after. That's BeQuest 1, profile cranked. Played around with the masks that are built into this one as well. We've used Aurae H for a horizontal image minus subject, so it just places it behind the subjects there. Go ahead and zoom in. This is before and after. And I'll show you the side by side there as well. My goodness, so gorgeous. That's from Saran, thank you. So good with the backlight in. All right, so let's go for an indoor image for the next one. This one is by Vivid Symphony. I'm just gonna go ahead and straighten things up just a little bit here. It's looking good. And white balance is looking okay to me. Exposure might want to be increased just a bit, but I want to kind of keep this mood that's going on. We've got this nice light, natural light coming in from the windows here and a little bit of a deeper shadow in the corners, which is super nice. So let's take a look at the presets. BeQuest 1, lovely, really, really nice. BeQuest 2, actually that one looks great. I love the extra boost in warmth and the extra contrast there. Let's take a look at the creative profile. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up just a bit. And I would probably leave that there. We could go for a lens correction. It's already on actually, but we could just lift up the corners a little bit more via the vignette. Before and after, that's BeQuest 2. Creative profile slightly increased to 139. And that's it. I just found these presets like an hour ago, and luckily I am off today to watch this live stream. Beautiful images. Thank you, Chelsea. Are you new to Archipelago presets full stop, or is this just your first Quest set? Either way, welcome. It's great to have you here. Morgan says, obsessed. Bryn says, sorry, I'm at work too and trying to multitask. Love that, Bryn. I love the commitment. So good. You can't find beautiful places like this in America. That's from Erin. Yeah, I think we're definitely a little bit more spoiled on this side of the world. I'm in the UK, and I think the UK, Europe in general, has some really beautiful old buildings. There definitely are plenty in America, I think, as well. It's a huge place, but I think we are definitely blessed on this side of the world to have a lot of very beautiful, stately homes and things like that. Wonderful image, that one there by Vivid Symphony. All right, so we've got 2 more images. I'll go ahead and edit those ones in just a moment. Just as a reminder, if you are tuned in live, you are in with a chance of winning one of our Archipelago mugs. This is our camping mug. We've got a few different designs to choose from. All you need to do is just be in that live chat. So just be chatting away in there. Let me know what you think to the edits, asking questions if you have them, and we'll be choosing from the people in that chat to win a free mug. Stick around till the end of the stream. That's when we'll announce who has won one of the coveted mugs, as Bryn has put it. Definitely right. All right, so let's take a look at image number 7. This one is by Peter. Another Canon file here. So we've got a beautiful kind of sunset over the horizon there. Nice field, and the subject's down at the bottom of the frame here. So I'm going to bring the temperature up a decent amount. It does need a little bit more magenta in there as well. But the exposure is looking good to me. So let's take a look at the presets. BeQuest 1, BeQuest 2, and BeQuest 3. I think for this one, it could be, let's go for 3. So we adjust the creative profile, maybe just add a little bit more of that creative profile look to the image. So that's looking super nice. So let's go ahead and play around with the Aurae effect on this one and go for something a little bit different, just to show you what you could do if you want to get creative. So what I'm going to do is, let's do the trick. I'm going to shrink the frame right down, and I'll use the vertical version. I don't need to do subject minus because I'm not placing this where the subject is. So I'm just going to go ahead and size it to about there. And now I can just reset. So the first effect here. Now what I'm going to do, I want to apply a second Aurae effect. So the way to do that is to duplicate the first one. So if I go ahead in here and duplicate, so now we have Aurae copy. I'm going to delete the first one, and that just means that it won't be replaced automatically when I apply Aurae again, which it would do if I left it as it was. So now I've got the copy version. I'm going to place that exactly where I want it. So I'm going to place it over here, a little bit like a lens flare. I'm going to bring the amount down quite a bit, so something like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply Aurae V again. I'm going to leave it on, this is not the minus subject version because I want this to be placed over the top of the subjects. And for this one, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to select the effect, and this time I want to select the actual tool, so the radial gradient 2, and I'm going to move this up, and I might even resize it as well. Let's just move this up a little bit, and I'm essentially going to create a little bit of like a lens flare sort of look. So I'm going to go back in, select that one. I want to move this slightly to the left and a little bit higher. And now we have this sort of like crescent shape. And now I'm going to place this where I want on the subject. So probably, yeah, just there, just to kind of frame the subjects. I'm going to bring the exposure of that up quite a bit, just to give us that a little bit of a kind of lens flare style look to it. I'm going to bring the intensity of the first one down just to be fairly subtle. And that looks good to me. So this is before and after. That's with BeQuest 3. The creative profile increased a little bit to 120. We've applied the Aurae in vertical version, and I've just kind of duplicated that, resized it, duplicated that, and then applied a second version and made alterations just to give a little bit more of a unique look, just to kind of give you an idea of what you could do if you want to play around with these effects. It's super nice to have the ability to do that, just to kind of create something for yourself. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an inspiration of what you might want to do. Oh my gosh, so perfect for this image. I love seeing these tools in use in such a creative way. Well, on that point, Letha, we're actually going to be hosting a Archipelago Edits live stream in a couple of weeks' time. And that one's specifically all about artistic edits. So I'll be using a range of different tools and showing you how you can get creative and get artistic on your editing. So definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. Come back in a couple of weeks' time where I'll be hosting that live stream. And actually for that one, it's one of the ones where you can submit your own images. So you can actually submit your raw files. If you go to any of the previous Archipelago Edits live streams, so specifically the Archipelago Edits ones, you'll find a link in the description where you can upload your own raw files. We'll of course share that in the Facebook group and stuff close to the time. And I'll be picking from those raw files that are submitted to use for the live stream. And if yours is chosen, you'll win a free preset collection of your choice. So definitely make sure to keep an eye out for that. That's going to be happening around about the 18th of this month. And that's where we'll kind of go through and actually play around with the tools and do lots of fun, creative things like this. Destiny said, wait, stop the presses. That is how you're able to apply something twice. You have saved my day. I'm so happy I saw that. There you go. So all you need to do is duplicate the layer and then apply the effect again from the preset panel, and you'll have two versions. Happy to help. And this is why everyone needs to watch these lives. Thank you, Kate. Oh my gosh, that's from Morgan. So amazing. Letha said, I'll be there. Great stuff. Thank you. Well, that's exciting. There we go. Lauren's actually put the link in the chat there for submitting your own raw files. You can submit as many as you like. Doesn't matter what format they're in, as long as they are raw, and can be any subject matter as well. I'll be choosing from those images to use in that upcoming live stream. So save that link. When you get the chance, submit your images, submit as many as you want, and you could be with the chance of having your image featured on the live stream and edited by me on the live, and also winning a free preset collection as well. All right, wonderful image there from Peter. Let me just show you the before and after again, and there's your side-by-side. So yeah, just a little bit of a fun edit, kind of replicating that lens flare sort of look. And actually, while we're talking about lens flares, for those that don't know, we have a collection of tools that is a limited edition preset collection. This is on archipelagopresets.com, and that's called Lens Effects. There's over 70 tools included with that. They use the masking layers. They're very, very cool, and they help to create these beautiful sun-filled lens flare, gorgeous images. Like I said, 70 plus tools in there to use that. It's a limited edition set, and we're actually down to somewhere around about 30 sets left, after which time that set will be retired. So once those last few have been sold, that set will actually retire and will only be available in the vault. So there we go, 25 copies left. So only 25 copies left. They're available to purchase at archipelagopresets.com. It's called the Lens Effects set. And you can see if I go up here, this is all of what's included with the lens effects, all of these, and each one has a whole bunch of stuff in it. So it's a really, really feature-packed set. Very, very cool. And like I said, there are only 25 of those left, or 21 now. Richard's doing a countdown. 21 of those left. Once they're gone, they will be retired. So if you are thinking of getting hold of those, or you like the look of these kinds of effects and you want more, go over to archipelagopresets.com and take a look at the lens effects before they are gone. All right, so we're on to the last image here. This one is by Venture Out Photography. Really, really beautiful image. This one's shot on a Sony. So let's go ahead and edit this one, after which I will then show you all of the edited images together, and we will then of course announce a winner for the free Archipelago mug. All right, so let's go ahead and bring the exposure up just a bit on this one. I want to make sure that I can see the subject's eyes, but the white balance is looking good. So let's take a look at the preset. So BeQuest 1, super, super nice. BeQuest 2, oh, that's looking good actually. And BeQuest 3, oh, it's probably between 2 and 3 for me. I just like the way it's rendering the features of the subject and the skin tone. I think BeQuest 3 is stealing it just because the extra little bit of sort of rose magenta type hue is just really flattering on this subject. So that's looking good. I'm going to bring the exposure up just a tiny bit more. Creative profile. Let's have a quick look. I think the default amount probably of 100 is looking good to me. So let's go ahead and apply the Aurae effect on this one. So I'm going to use Aurae V minus. That's going to place it behind the subject. And now I can move this up to here and do that same sort of style of halo effect, which I absolutely love. I'm a little bit obsessed with it. I'm going to bring the intensity up a little bit on there. And I think for this image, I'm going to go into the amorous mask. This is one of the ones that's applied as default with the preset. And I'm going to bring that up just to kind of give that nice softness. This is it down at 0. This is it up at 200. And I'm probably going to crank it way up high, probably about 180, just to bring that really nice, soft, warm look to the image. So that's looking super cool. The only thing I'm going to do Extra to this is I'm going to use the Archipelago AI Portrait toolset. This is currently available in the Archipelago Quest archive. And this is a whole bunch of tools to help to address issues or kind of enhance things to do with portraits. So it basically uses the AI function to select different elements of your subjects. So in this case, I just want to brighten the eyes a little bit. So I'm going to use the eyes brighten, give that a click. That's going to find the eyes of the subject and give it a nice little bit of a lift. And now I can use the preset amount slider to increase or decrease that. I'm going to go up to about there, I think. And that, I think, is done. So here's before, here's after, and there's the side-by-side comparison. That one with BeQuest 3, the Aurae effect minus subject set in the background there. We have increased the amorous mask layer that's included with the preset, and then we just used the eyes brighten from the AI portrait toolset just to lift up the eyes a little bit there. Super, super nice. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you can see just the details and how it's rendered. That grain is really, really beautiful. Nice texture there. And of course, that Aurae effect giving us that really amazing Renaissance style look. Erin said, Mr. Chris, go ahead and take a bow. This set is beautiful. So actually, Erin, this set was developed by Richard. So Richard McDowell, you can see in the chat there. This one was created by him. So we have 3 developers here at Archipelago. And with the Quest sets, we tend to alternate and cycle through each of the 3 developers. So this set was created by Richard. I think you should be good on the Wi-Fi up there. It's mostly flat. Have a good time. I think we're having a little comment. Oh, yeah. Leith is having a little chat. The tool set is amazing. Thank you. Just perfect. So cool and pretty. Wow, amazing job. Fantastic set, Richard. Lots of love for Richard. Erin says, take your flowers. I love that. All right, so let's have a look at all of these edited images with that beautiful BeQuest warm romantic look. Let's do the old lights out so we can see there. Super, super nice, really cohesive look. This one's not quite caught up actually. Let's, there we go. Really cohesive, nice warm look to this set, but with the 3 different variations, you've got enough variety in there to kind of suit all sorts of different scenes. And of course the extra tools that you have, so the Aurae effect for that really magical additional effect, and the masking layers that are included there as well. I think it's such a fantastic set. Again, this is this month's Quest set, so if you are a Quest subscriber, you get this set for free as part of your subscription. So do go ahead and download that straight away if you're already a Quest subscriber. If you're not, head over to archipelagoquest.com and take a look at our Quest membership. It's incredible. We release a new set every single month that's free for our members to download. And they're just going to keep on coming. All the incredible sets. We've got lots of incredible sets lined up to be released over the coming months as well. So yeah, it's a great time to become a Quest member if you're not already. All right, so we'll be announcing a winner in the chat in just a moment, but I do just want to say a big thank you to everyone for tuning in. It's so nice to have you on these live streams. It's really, really a pleasure to host them, and it's always nice just to share the edits, share the incredible photography from the people in our community, and yeah, just get to connect with you. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. Liz said, I can't get over how cohesive these are. So romantic and dreamy. That's from Saran. And there we go. Lauren has announced the Archipelago Camp Mug winner, which is Letha. You have won a free Archipelago Camp Mug. So reach out to us on the email that you see in the chat there, and you can choose which mug you'd like to get. This is the Level Up Your Editing one, which is the one that I picked, but we have a few different designs to choose from. So go ahead and choose the one that you want. So big congratulations to Letha, but thank you to everyone for tuning into these live streams. Like I said, I'll be hosting an Archipelago Edits stream in a couple of weeks' time. So make sure you come and join me for that. Submit your images in the meantime, those raw files, and I'll be choosing from those to feature in that live stream. But thank you again, and I'll see you very, very soon.